Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 5 of the Morningscape Podcast. It is November 24th, 2015. Coming in here with you with another episode, talking about some current events in hockey. Here with Mike. We're going to touch a little bit on the brand new All-Star Game format, some of that 3-on-3 action and what we think about it. We're going to talk about Nashville and the little scoring drought they're going through. We're talking about Travis Hamonic and how he wants out of the New York Islanders, which is a little crazy, but we'll get in more into it later. And as we promised our last episode, our new theory on what big players could be moving at the end of the season, or maybe even at the trade deadline. Let's get straight into it. Mike, new All-Star Game format. 3-on-3 mini tournament, pretty much. One period of 3-on-3 hockey. What do you think? And is it better or worse than the old format?
Well, I'm really interested in a couple things. One of them is that, obviously, with the league introducing the new 3-on-3 format this year, it's obviously kind of like an advertisement spiel of like, oh, you guys know how intense and fun it is to watch the 3-on-3. Well, let's do it and just be kind of trendy and put it in our All-Star Game now. Obviously, the All-Star Game, other than the skills competition, I believe it is that's the main part that's really fun to watch, because when they actually get to the All-Star Game, I don't know. It turns into like no one's actually trying, because no one's trying to get injured. It's like not really worth it. And then you just get these really high scoring games, and it's just not really that fun to watch. So I think it's personally really good. I think it's good for the league. And being 3-on-3, there's so much open ice that these guys can really just try and do whatever they want. They don't have pressure to mess up or anything really. They can kind of just do what they've always wanted to do. Maybe we'll see some new deeks. I don't know. It's going to be fun. I'm a fan. What about you, Nick?
I like it too. I just thought the old All-Star Game format was pretty boring. Personally, for me, it'd be like watching the skills competition, and I'd make sure I watch every single minute of that. As the All-Star Game, you were just like, let's watch the highlights and let's just see who scored the filthiest goal, because it's pretty much just the goalies stacking the pads and everyone doing pretty passing plays, but everyone going about quarter speed. And it's just not that fun to watch. So I think they knew that it was time for a change. And I think this was, right now, the best option that they could have done. Personally, the only thing I have a problem with the 3-on-3 is I know that a lot of players have come out so far saying that they don't like it. And we're used to the 3-on-3 in regular season that your heart is beating super fast, like it's a Game 7, and it's just like ride or die, and it's going back and forth, scoring chance, and it's so fast. I don't know if that's going to be the pace on the All-Star Game. Even though it's 3-on-3 and there's going to be a lot of open ice, I don't see it as skaters going up and down the ice their full speed, which sucks, because that's what makes, I think, the 3-on-3 so much fun to watch. But obviously, I think there's an incentive this year that the winning team gets to split $1 million. Now, if you're obviously making a lot of money, that $1 million split between, I think the teams are like 6 or 7 people, that's not a lot. But with that being said, that could be an opportunity for them to donate to a charity that they like, or give it the money to someone in need. Or if you're a rookie that sneaks into the All-Star Game, it's a nice little pay bonus for you. So I think adding the incentive definitely maybe might add a little bit of a drive for it, but I still don't think that they're going to be really going at 110%. Because realistically, it's a week off for the NHL, or a weekend off that everyone kind of wants to enjoy more than, get that back to their daily grind of going 150% and everything. So, you know what? It's going to be better. Don't get me wrong. I think the All-Star Game is going to be a lot better this year. And I think it's going to be actually watchable compared to most years. But I still think it's going to be a little... They're going to sandbag it a little bit. Obviously, I think they're going to be going realistically 70%. I hope they go more. But I realistically think it's going to be going 70%. And hopefully it's fun to watch. And I hope a good team makes it and wins. Sorry, guys. My phone just being annoying. And... But yeah, I think it should be good, but we'll see. I'm hoping that I know skills competition is going to be great, but I just hope the All-Star Game, the 3-on-3 totally works out.
Well, I heard from someplace, and I kind of agreed with this post that I read, was that they need to move the All-Star Game to after the season. Because mainly the reason players don't go their hardest is, obviously, like I said earlier, they're not trying to hurt themselves. But also, if you think about the placement of it, it's during the season, which is obviously 10 times more of a reason not to get hurt or not to try anything crazy. But if you go after the cup, after everything's kind of said and done, it gives you some hockey fans something to do during that off season, that long, horrible 100-something game drought or day drought. And honestly, it's kind of cool overall because you might actually see players go out, try a little bit harder, try and skate off some of that rust that they've been growing on the off season. And honestly, I'm a fan of that idea. But obviously, I don't know how that works in with scheduling and free agency and if that's even a possibility. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Speculation. Next up, Nick, we got Nashville looking like the new Ducks. They're in a now 9-period, 3-game drought scoring-wise. They've been shut out all 3 games. They even outshot, which is the funniest thing, is this really reminded me of the Ducks. They outshot the New York Rangers 35-23 and got no goals past Lundqvist. And honestly, it's hilarious just to watch them struggle like the Ducks did, and yet no one's really batting an eye.
Yeah, definitely. I think since the Ducks were, they were projected to win it all this year, and that might still be the case, might not be obviously with the slow start they had. But I think Nashville is seen as a contender, but I don't think they're underneath the public eye as much as the Ducks were. So obviously they're not getting ridiculed as much. And it's also just 3 games right now, and I'm sure they'll come out of the slump eventually. But yeah, it's the same thing with the team they have. They should not be putting up points. You have James Neal, Roman Josi,
Fuck you, James Neal,
Seth Jones. We've got Philip Forsberg, Mike Ribeiro, Mike Fisher on that team. Guys that should be putting the puck in the net.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a little upsetting to see that happen. But nonetheless, that team, I think they're going to be fine. They got a lot of defense. They have Pecorino in goal. The goals are going to come, just like the Ducks. They're starting to come. And for Nashville, I'm sure this will only last a few more games, if even that. So, they got a good coach with Peter Laviolette. Laviolette, I don't know.
Laviolette.
He's a dirty Phillies coach from before.
He's a beauty. Oh, my God. He's really shaped the Nashville Predators into a team that's fun to watch because they play defense first.
Because they play like the old Flyers.
They do. They do play like the Flyers.
So they play like a playoff team.
Yeah, they literally they play like the favorite team I've ever watched was the 2011 Flyers. Anyways, so that being said, do you see that? How long do you think the scoring drought? Do you think they score next game?
I think they score. I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to score 2 goals in the next 2 games. Okay. So maybe 1 a game or maybe just 2 and 1. But that's where I see them going. That's what I see happening. But who knows? I could be wrong. And, I'd probably just podcast jinx them and they're going to start playing really well.
Seeing them playing last game, I think that one really hit them. Like, that was that emotionally distraught. Like, you watch the player's face. They're getting up into, I think it was Zuccarello. I think it was James Neal was just slashing Zuccarello near the end of the game. Just, like, blatant fuck you. He's just so fucking frustrated. So I think they're not going to score next game. I think if you watch time and time again when players go through scoring droughts, when they get to this emotionally frustrated part, they're not ready to move past it. They end up just having another bad game or 2. That being said, it is the Nashville Predators, stocked with freaking they're a powerhouse team for sure. So who knows? Obviously, it's just prediction, but I think they're gonna go at least another game without scoring. Watch them score 7 goals next game. That'd be hilarious. But that's funny because they had that game against the Jets.
Yeah.
Where they scored, 7 goals?
7, something like that. 8 or 7.
8 or 7 goals, and they just, it was like that whole line brawl sort of feeling.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was a blowout for sure. And, it's funny because we'll have games like this, and everyone will be like, we need bigger nets, or we need less goalie gear, blah, blah, blah. But then we have games that, like the last one they had against the Jets, they score 7 goals, or, there's a lot of games like they're getting 10 goals a game, 8 goals a game, 9 goals a game, and everyone's still talking about how there's not enough goals in the league.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of scared if they change the goalie stuff, and I agree. I'm totally with you on that. Like, there's these games where they're scoring way too much, and then there's obviously the games where it's 2-1. But honestly, I don't really need high-scoring games to be really fulfilled with the NHL. And I think you see a lot of people that are talking about it are just trying to get bigger fan base. Because obviously the more casual hockey fans want more goals. That's what they get really entertained. They like to go to the games and cheer as much as possible. They want to see goals, hear goal horns. But but honestly, if you're a real hockey fan, I think goalie duels are one of the most fun things to watch. Like I said earlier, Lundqvist versus Price. I think it might have been 2-0 Canadians or 2-1 Canadians at the end of that game. But it was the biggest goalie duel of the year so far. And that was so much fun to watch because they had such tremendous saves. But I don't know. I really don't want them to change it. Although it is sounding like they are going to. Or at least they're going to tuck in goalie gear, was their main idea first.
Hopefully. I hope they don't change the nets. But we already talked about like our whole theory on which one's better.
Yeah.
I don't think, honestly, I think the NHL just needs to chill. Just be like, chill, bruh. Like, we good. Like, everything's been fine.
The amount of fuck that's going to happen if they change the goalie nets is going to be nuts.
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary. Like,
there's so much that happens with the littlest change in goalie nets just by player style, goalie style. It's like, it's really scary, Because, like, if you play, like, a more downwards position goalie and then you have the extra room, shit changes drastically, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the gear is probably going to be the easiest thing to change. But, I don't know. I really don't even think anything needs to be done. I think we're fine. And I don't think the NHL has much to worry about. But, who knows? We'll see what happens with it. I hope nothing big changes, because I feel like the league is great as it is right now. Mm-hmm. Like, there's already a lot of changes in the last 2 seasons, and I think it's enough. Like, we can just take a little break from the change and just kind of let us enjoy hockey a bit. Yeah, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, I don't want to see games where, like, the average goal is 6.
Yeah, and
that's too much.
That's just going to... It's like, that's going to ruin goalies' confidence, And then I feel like that'll eliminate more of, like, the cool, like, number one goalie stories we hear about, like the Hamburglar stories and the Devin Dubnyk stories. Like, those stories, those fun stories to watch will start going away with bigger nets and, like, more goals. So, You know what? I think everything's fine right now.
But we'll see. All right, so next we got Travis Hamonic wanting to request a trade to, was it the Western Canadian teams?
Definitely, yeah. He's on the New York Islanders. Obviously, very, very good team.
Cup
contending team. He's one of their top 4 defensemen, I believe. Like, I know he's up there with Boychuk and Leddy and up there as one of their top 4. But a right-handed shot, great defenseman, and he wants out of New York Islanders. And it's not, from what I've heard in the reports, it has nothing to do with bad blood with the management or with the team. It's purely for personal reasons. It's just something related with his family, and
which is too bad.
Yeah, that's a bummer to hear. I mean, you obviously know that for a professional hockey player, it's got to be something really bad that you have to request a trade from a team, especially from a team like the Islanders. Like if you're on let's say the Carolina Hurricanes and you're requesting a trade, you're like, okay, I can see why. Like I can understand why you want to leave that 10,000 fans a game thing, in the team that's just totally just not playing well. But you could do that. Like I understand that, but you're on the New York Islanders. You're on a team that honestly should have been in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. You've got Johnny T, John Tavares. You've got Johnny Boychuk. You have Yaroslav Halak. You have Kyle Okposo. You have so many good players on that team. That's a tough team to want to leave, and I doubt he really wants to. I really think that he wants to stay with that team, but just with his family right now, that whatever's happening with him in his life, that he needs to leave. And I respect that, and family comes first. Hockey's just a sport, so
and a livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it sucks. Like definitely to be in his position, it's not a position anyone wants to be in. But now looking at it, a Western Canadian team, we got the Oilers, Calgary Flames, and the
Winnipeg
Vancouver
too.
Canucks. Oh,
Winnipeg, I think he's
not Canucks. Canucks, sorry.
Canucks.
The Winnipeg. They are.
He wanted to go to Winnipeg.
Yeah, they are.
Winnipeg was a team too. I think he even extended to Minnesota as something else he would go to.
East Coast.
Yeah, but he said I think he would go there. I think because it's just because New York is all the way east, so anything west,
midway.
Anything closer.
Come to the Ducks.
No, we don't need defense. We have enough.
Calgary doesn't.
Calgary doesn't need. If Calgary gets another defenseman, I'm going to lose. All
right, no more. We talked about Calgary D's line for 2 games or 2 podcasts.
I know.
No, but honestly, realistically, I'd see. Well, obviously the Jets in mind. That's possible.
Now I see the Jets just because they have Tyler Myers or Jacob Trouba, who you could say right-handed shot defenseman, equally the same player. Can go back. I've even heard rumors that Big Buff, yeah, he's on a contract year.
Yeah.
He's obviously been putting up really good points the last few seasons. A great player from Winnipeg. He's probably gonna want to get paid, and Winnipeg might not want to pay him. I'm not sure, but
there's been a lot of talks that he's leaving.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of talks.
This might be the time to do it. You get Travis Hamonic back. I don't remember his exact contract, but I do know it's very reasonably priced, and he's on a really good contract compared to what most people are on. So if you're Winnipeg right now, do you get rid of Bufflin and maybe get Hamonic and a draft pick, get Hamonic and something else, and really you're only losing out on that big physical factor of Bufflin. Now,
But yeah, Buff's like the one of a kind player in the league, though.
yeah, definitely. So
And
that's
you
something
just
big.
don't see that.
That's something big to lose, but you might also get a big return for it. Because Travis Harmonic's he's not a plug out there. He's
Yeah.
definitely he's a top four defenseman.
And the thing
so.
is, Bufflin's contract is done this year. So
Yeah.
like he like literally he's talked about leaving the team before. Like there's been little like interviews here and there where he's like, well, I don't know. You know, he's not gonna say he's not going to, obviously, but like I've heard that there's a good possibility that you see him leaving this year. And so if you're gonna lose him already,
might as well
get something out of
for
it,
him.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So high.
So the Islanders getting Dustin Byfuglien, that would be pretty nuts.
Yeah, that would make that team a
really
lot
good.
scarier.
I mean, he's literally that one-of-kind player. They already have a pretty good D-line, but to get a shutdown, high-scoring defenseman like that...
Who can also play wing. He can also
exactly,
bump up the
he can
forward.
bump up. Dude, you have him and Tavares on a line. That's
scary.
fucking weird. That's
scary.
a really, really big line. Like, that's abnormal. You don't really see... The only team I think that has a line similar to that would be something out of the San Jose Sharks. And that's what something with, like, Brent Burns moving up.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously he plays a lot of D more than he does up. But he's that same sort of style where he's this big guy who can really just do stuff that no other player can in the league because of his size. I mean, was it against the Predators? He literally just grabs two players and throws them down.
Yeah.
Like, just no fucks given. He's so big, it's scary.
He's a monster. And he's
so-
a big boy. And that's a big guy. You see him up
Yeah.
close, you're like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
he's literally a linebacker in the NHL.
That's one
It's
of those
weird.
guys, one of those pictures you see where it's like a picture of him, and you're like, this guy slaps your girlfriend's ass. Like, what are you gonna do? And it's like you're not gonna do anything
No.
because he will destroy you.
Fucking
He will
Zdeno Chara.
wreck- Yeah, Chara, dude. Just Jesus, like you're done. You're done.
It's like, oh, sorry, babe.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
well, I
Let's
wish there was
move
something
on.
I could have done. Or you can't stand up and you're gonna get your ass kicked and you're gonna lose a lot of teeth. But
Yeah,
up to
your
you.
beautiful teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
So that being said, I do think that would be a fun one if he came to the Islanders, just because they're probably going to lose him already. Or they, not probably, but like I said, there's been a
There's
lot
a
of talks
chance,
about
yeah.
it. So why not get something in return? And Hamonic's a really good defenseman.
Exactly.
Would be really good, well fitted with someone like Tyler Myers or someone like that.
Yeah.
You know, that lineup gets a little bit more depth, but they get more of an image because like Dustin Byfuglien doesn't really fit on any team necessarily, but he's cool to have. So like if you get a player like Hamonic onto the Jets, I don't know. I just see it working.
Yeah, I see him with the Jets too. I think Byfuglien, I think you're gonna have to get more. You're gonna have to send more than Travis Harmonic. Now I think guys like Jacob Trouba and Tyler Myers, you might be able to get rid of you might be able to just do player from player or maybe like a high round pick. But I think for Byfuglien, if you're the Islanders, you're gonna have to give up more. As if you want Trouba or Myers, you could just go player for player or close, maybe a high draft pick, like I said. But that's it. Now. The Oilers obviously are a team that definitely needs defense too.
Yeah.
As a secondary Oilers fan over here, I can tell you that they definitely need help on defense. Obviously, they have a crazy forward front. They have Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jordan Eberle, Nail Yakupov, Leon Draisaitl, Teddy Purcell, and who am I missing? What's his name? Connor
McGregor.
fucking McDavid. You have Connor McDavid on that team.
Yeah, that
And
team's literally
that
the
team-
Oilers in 3 years. It's gonna be like a contender.
Up front, that team is gnarly. And obviously, on their back end is where they need help. You have Cam Talbot as your number one goalie. It's obviously showing it's not really working out.
Well,
You have Anders Nielsen
is
too.
it really not? I don't think Talbot's been playing that bad, dude.
He hasn't
I
been
just
playing
think
that
our
bad, but
defense is terrible.
Their defense is pretty
Sam
terrible.
Reinhart is
mean
literally like one of the
Griffin
Reinhart. Who's Sam?
Sam's for Buffalo.
Oh wow. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Griffin Reinhart. Like
Yeah, they
he's
traded.
growing up. Like
They traded him for a first round pick, and he's not playing so great so far. But hopefully, he's still a young player, so he has some time to grow and whatnot. But I think it's a little scary for Edmonton right now. They need defense, so Travis Harmonic might be a guy you might want to get. You might have to give up some draft picks and some prospects, but it could be well worth it. Yeah, and you're gonna have a lot. And honestly, if they're playing the way they're playing right now and they don't make a playoff spot, you're gonna get another good draft pick. Which sure you could build around, or you could start getting some defense. Because right now, looking at their defense, they have Sekera, Clef Baum. Let's see who else. They have Eric Greiba. They have Griffin Reinhart. They have, who am I missing? They have Brandon Davidson.
Yeah, they need a stud.
They need that.
They need
have
a really
Darney Nurse too. They need a
Darnell.
big top 4 defenseman, and that's
Maybe
something.
2.
Maybe 2, maybe 3 exactly. So, could this be the time right now for Edmonton to jump in and get a defenseman? Possibly. I see. Like I said, I think Hamonic. I see him in Winnipeg more than I see him in Edmonton. But as an Edmonton fan, I would love to see him in Edmonton, help out the defensive core. I think it's doable.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to give up a pretty price for him because you obviously don't have the same players as you don't have a Jacob Trouba or Tyler Myers to trade, but you have assets.
Yeah, that's tough too because the Islanders.
Yeah, they're a contender.
They don't really need too much forwardship. They could use a couple players possibly.
Yeah,
from the Oilers because they have such a good forward line sort of style, but I don't know, who would you even give forward-wise? Because, let's say the Islanders do a two-way trade. They give up a forward from the Islanders to the Oilers, and the Oilers give up they give up a forward and a defenseman, and then you send over a forward and some draft picks from the Oilers. Who are you giving up?
Exactly. There's not really anyone I think the Oilers would give up. They're not going to give up Yakupov.
Exactly.
I don't think they're going to give up Benoit Pouliot. I don't think they're going to give Teddy Purcell, Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, especially not Leon Draisaitl. Yeah, you're not going to do that. So that's the hard thing for the Islanders right now is they're still in a win now kind of situation. They're a contender right now. So if you're losing Travis Hamonic, you're going to want to get a roster player back. And they have a lot of good draft picks too. They've done a great job of acquiring great draft picks and getting great prospects for that team. Obviously they traded Griffin Reinhart to the Oilers they ended up getting Travis Konechny, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's a solid forward that they stole pretty late in the draft for I think it was the late 18s or 20s. They got him, but that's a great deal. And they have Josh Hosang too. Didn't make the team because of all that drama, but they have a lot of really really good prospects on the team. So I don't think they really need a lot of prospects coming up, but they're in a win now situation. Can the Oilers give them anyone that would really help them in their win now situation? I don't really see it. I hope. I don't think they're going to give away Travis Hamonic. I know he wants out, and apparently the talks have been happening since before the season even started. I think the fact that they haven't traded him by this point means that they're not just going to give him away. They're not just going to be like, hey, dude, we got to get rid of you, see ya, and just take a 3rd round or 2nd round pick. I think they're going to take their time to find the best deal that they can for him, especially right-handed shot defensemen right now. They're gold. It's like finding gold in the NHL.
Literally, dude. It's nuts how many more left-handed are out there. Okay. So that being said, I guess we can go into the very fun part where we talk about some potential world-captivating trades with contracts coming up.
There's 2 big contracts expiring. You could say probably 2 of the top 10 best centers in the NHL. We've got Anze Kopitar of the LA Kings contract expiring, and you've got Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning's contract also expiring. Now, this was such a big deal that we wanted to save it for this episode just because it's such a crazy thought, and it's going to sound super weird, and we get that, but you just need to hold on and just trust us on this one. So,
as we've already kind of talked about Kopitar earlier on a couple episodes ago, but yeah, it's kind of crazy what could happen.
So this is my theory, and it totally makes sense. All right. So apparently Steven Stamkos wants around anywhere from high $9 to low $11 million in contract, which is crazy money. But he wants to make Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews money, which is fair. I mean, I think he's worth it. But here's the thing. Tampa Bay doesn't really want to give him that $11 million. And I honestly don't think he's going to get it. And you've got a Toronto-born player, Steven Stamkos, Toronto-born and raised kid. So it would make sense that he goes to the Leafs because the Leafs are going to have a ton of cap space because they're going to start getting rid of all those contracts. They're going to start getting rid of all those people. They're going to have cap space for him. And they're in this whole rebuild phase. And what better for that to get a huge center like Steven Stamkos. And for a team he probably wants to play for. Like I said, he grew up, I think, in Toronto or near Toronto. So that's a huge deal. And they'll give him that $11 million, that Tampa Bay might not give him. So here's my theory, is that he's going to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Steven Stamkos will be a Toronto Maple Leaf next year. I totally believe it. If he doesn't get traded to another team right now, but by the end of this season, if he doesn't do a contract, if he hits free agency, I have no doubt that he goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs and becomes the savior of that team.
And that is definitely a trade I want to see. Or that's definitely like a signing I want to see. I really want to see Stamkos in the Maple Leafs.
And
that would be so fun.
You would be coming up on a future of Stamkos and a Mitch Marner 1-2 combo, which, holy shit, that's scary. And that will make them a contender. That will make them a force to be reckoned with for a long time.
And it gives Maple Leafs that sort of veteranship that they need.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who's been to the Cup, obviously hasn't won one yet, but someone who's been through the playoffs, has that leadership. He's been the captain of a very successful team for not a long time, but for a few years now, and he's a young player. You're getting him probably in his prime. You're going to get him in that late 20s prime. I see it happening. Now, here's another thing. You have Anze Kopitar now, who wants big money too. You got to think about it. He lives in Los Angeles, beautiful Los Angeles. He's getting paid decent money. He's won 2 Stanley Cups. So he's been there and back. And, you could say that right now, obviously, the Kings are playing really well, but the last season, if that showed anything, it shows that their dynasty days are on a downhill slope right now. So, if I'm Kopitar, you've won 2 cups, dude. You have a ring on each hand. So, go get paid, dude. Go make money, because if Stamkos doesn't hit free agency, you're going to be the best forward. You're going to be the best center available. If Stamkos does become a free agent, you're the second best. But those are 2 crazy good forwards. So here's what I think. It's going to be a little bit of switching and trading a little bit, but they're going to be trading spots. So you got Stamkos going to Toronto, and you're going to have Kopitar. My theory is I think Kopitar is going to replace Stamkos in Tampa Bay. Tell me this doesn't make sense. Tampa Bay is a young, great team that's only getting better. Obviously, made it to the Cup last year, lost, but they're getting better every year. They have young players coming up like Jonathan Drouin, a lot of young defensemen, a lot of young forwards coming up in this team. And you've got someone who's not going to probably ask for that $11 million that Stamkos is asking for. He's probably going to ask for that $7 to $9 million range that Tampa's more comfortable paying with. So for Kopitar, you're leaving a team that's kind of going on a downhill spiral for a team that's on an uphill spiral. You get to stay in a beautiful beachy town. You're going from LA to Tampa. Obviously, it's a little different, but for the most part, like he's from Slovakia or wherever the fuck he's from. So that's beautiful for him. Anything's better than that. So he goes Tampa on an East Coast team that's only getting better. He's going to get paid out fat because they're going to have the money that they had laying around for Stamkos going around. And because I don't think the Kings right now have the cap space that they can pay Kopitar the money he deserves. They're obviously really tight on the cap right now. Obviously, they got in some big contract troubles. So I see Kopitar in a Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. I see him in blue, and I see Stamkos in the Toronto blue. So those are 2 big moves, but it totally makes sense. For Kopitar, that's a win-win. You're going to get paid out, and you're going to be on a contending team. It's not like he's even getting paid out to be on a shitty team. He is getting paid out to be on a team that can win a Stanley Cup in the next 3 years. Even sooner, they can win it this year. They can win it next year. They're that good of a team. So, I think that's what's going to happen. Mike, what do you think?
Well, also another fun thing is I want to see where the captaincy goes for the Lightning. I mean, you lose Stamkos. I mean, who would get it at that point? Kucherov? Hedman?
Probably Hedman.
Hedman makes sense.
Or maybe Callahan.
I think that'd be a lot of fun, too. But yeah, no, the thing about it is, like what we were talking about with the Matt Duchene trade last week is, like, everything fits and it makes sense. It's not like a speculation where it's like, well, what about this? Like, this doesn't really work out. And you're like, well, yeah, shit, you're right. Nothing there is like that. Like, this all makes sense. Like, they need this guy. This guy is going to get paid. Like, I don't know. It just all formulates really well, and I see it. I really do. Now, that being said, Kopitar's LA blood. He's always liked the team, so why leave? I get the cap space, but is the player loyalty there? And I think that'll be really fun to watch as the season goes on. Obviously, I think it will really have to do with how the Kings are doing midway through the season. Are definitely going to kind of, shape his judgment around this situation a little bit more. Also, I was talking to Tyler, and apparently he told me some numbers. I think it was like 6 something over 4 or 5 years.
But he can get paid more than
That's what I'm saying. That was the number that they were trying to do that I heard. But yeah, if it does come down to the money, then I do see the Lightning having a better chance of getting him. And like you said, Kopitar's won it twice now. If the Kings are going on a downward spiral, and then he goes over to Lightning, who are on an upward spiral. Why wouldn't you do it? You know, the only reason you wouldn't is player loyalty, and we'll see. Like I said, we'll see.
And honestly, now, like, you see so many player loyalty deals go wrong. Like, I think it was Curtis Glencross said something. Curtis Glencross not in the NHL right now. Last year, he got traded for a second-round pick and was a top 6 forward for the Calgary Flames. He said he stayed with that team and took less money to be loyal to the team just for him to trade him, and look at now he doesn't have a spot in the NHL. He's gone. Later, shitty, you're out. You know, so honestly, I think if you're an agent right now, because obviously if you're an agent, you want the best for the player, and you obviously want him to make the most money that he can, because you're getting the most of that. If I'm Kopitar's agent, I'm saying get money, get paid. Yep. Because it is time. You've done it. What else does he want? You know, he's won 2 cups. He won 2 cups in 3 years, right? Or was it 2 and 3? That's it. What else could you want, dude? Like, you got
Matt Bolesky, dude. Same thing. You think, oh, you know what? He would take a pay cut to stay with the Anaheim Ducks. They're a contender team. You want the cup, right?
Yep.
And he goes and swaps over to the Bruins for a team that's not going to be a contender for at least a couple years. He didn't even get that much more money.
I think he just got like a no-move clause, which he really wanted. But
yeah, that's what he really wanted. Was that whole...
But Kopitar, I hear all the Kings fans like, oh, he'll stay. It's like, dude, if you told me, like, if I was at my job right now, you know, I love my job, sure, but if somewhere else was like, hey, I'm going to pay you instead of $9 an hour or whatever I make, you know, they're going to be like, here's $25 an hour. I'm going to be like, yo, guys, I love you all, but I'm going to make $25 an hour because I want to make money. Like, I'm going to get money.
It's like, it's a really vast difference. Yeah. When you get to that sort of extra millions, like, that's a big deal.
That's something that, you know, his kids won't have to work. You know? At $6 million and $9 million, that's $3 million. Imagine if someone just gave you $3 million. If you won $3 million or something just happened that your company or your store, you just found $3 million, that's life-changing stuff. Obviously, for them, it's probably not as much, but still, even $3 million, that's crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
So, if I'm Kopitar, I tell you, sir, if you're listening, because I know you are, because everyone listens to this podcast.
Oh, everyone.
You're going to get paid, dude. Go get paid. Get money, get paid. And I'm not just saying this so, like, the Ducks don't have to face you, because honestly, we do decent against you. Sure, you hurt us sometimes, but we got Ryan Kesbay. He kills you every day. So anyway, go get paid, dude. Honestly, Stamkos, go to Toronto. Be like the savior there.
That's what I really want to watch. I want to watch the media. I want to watch everything go on.
And they want him so bad. Like, imagine just Babcock. And then you're going to have William Nylander coming up on that team. And Mitch Marner coming up. Like, that's scary. Stamkos, do it, dude. Unless you want to win a cup now. You still got a lot of time, though, dude. I'm just saying that. But unless you want to win a cup now, or maybe Tampa wins it this year. He's like, got my cup. Later, guys. Peace out.
How's Kopitar feel if he doesn't go and then the Lightning win the cup?
Yep, and then he goes.
That'd be funny.
But I see it happening. I just see it happening. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think Kopitar is going to stay with the team? Do you think he goes to another team? And same with Stamkos. Do you think he stays with the Lightning? Do you think he goes somewhere else? Or do you see him going to Toronto too? And tell me, where is there a fault in my plan? Because I don't see any loose ends. I see it totally working.
Yeah.
All the puzzle pieces fit right.
And make sure you're dropping your fan bias.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't just be like, oh, this isn't going to happen. LA for life, baby. Or, oh, like, Lightning squad, light it up. You know, Stamkos will never leave. Stammer time. But, like, let's be real honest here, guys. The Maple Leafs need a fucking star player. They absolutely need one. The Lightning have so much talent already. They're not going to be able to pay him. I mean, why not? Why not? And like I said, Stamkos has talked about Toronto. He's not against going there. I'm sure, and I'm telling you, dude, every player wants to play for a Canadian team, even if it is the Maple Leafs.
Even just an original 6 in general, even if it's Detroit. They want to play there.
And Maple Leafs in general, because everyone wants to see the challenge. Yeah. You know, every player is like, I want to test myself in Toronto. I want to deal with all the camera. And honestly, when you play for a Canadian team like that, you really get the sense of being an all-star, right?
Yeah.
Like, you come over to California, you come over to all these places, you don't really feel like a stud. You can walk into, like, a freaking Tim Hortons, and you're going to be recognized in Canada. But, like, you come over to California, go to an In-N-Out, gets lost in an In-N-Out, people might not know who you are, right? And then I don't know where Getzlau's from. It's someplace in Canada.
I think it's from...
It's kind of a weird name.
Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan or something, something like that. But, like, he goes there, and his brother plays for their little football team, and he's more well-known than Ryan Getzlaf.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sucks. Because he's in the NHL, and he's not as known as his brother.
Too,
you know? So I definitely see that being like a sort of a mentality thing of I want to play for this team, feel like an all-star. And I mean,
And it's a hometown team, you know. That's a team
Literally.
he probably rooted for growing up. You got Mike Babcock, one of the best coaches there. It sounds like a good time to go to Toronto right now, you know. So
yeah, it's a lot
and
of
they're
fun.
obviously they're making all the right steps to do a great rebuild. So I see it happening. Yeah, guys, and honestly, that's it for this episode. It's gonna be a little shorter than most. I know you're used to our hour-long rants, but I just want to leave you with that. Just ponder about that. Use those extra 20 minutes that you normally hear our voices to actually think deep down: is this gonna happen?
Yeah.
And if it happens, I should get paid. Something should happen because I thought about this long and hard, and it totally makes sense. And if I called it, then I might be a wizard.
We're from the future. We have
I might be a wizard. Yeah.
We know.
So.
But also, if there's any other player trades or anything crazy that you want us to talk about or want us to dive into and research, let us hear it.
Yeah, or
sound off in the comment section.
If you have any ideas of something that could work, let us know. What teams they could go to, or any other trades or big other free agents that with new destinations coming. Definitely let us know. We'll touch on it.
Always down.
We're working on Spotify. We started the process to get that ready. It's taking a little longer than we expected, but
almost there.
We're close, guys.
We're close.
We promise. Same with iTunes. I think iTunes is a little bit easier, but we're trying to get Spotify first because we figure a lot of people use Spotify more than iTunes.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get that figured out. But, yeah, guys, we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Tell everyone you know if they're not already listening to it, am I right?
Exactly. They're all listening to it.
Yeah, so... share it around, guys. Like I said, we're really, really working on getting it on better format for you guys. We promise it's coming soon. Thanks for tuning in. Again, let us know in the comments what you think about today's episode or anything else you want to hear, guys. So here we go. Get ready for that Kopitar in blue, and you're gonna see Stamkos in an even bluer blue too. So
that cheese.
Toronto, Stamkos is coming, and Florida. Kopitar might be coming, guys.
That'd be fun.
So that's something to look forward to, guys. All right, you guys have a great week. We will talk to you soon. You guys have a great one, and go Ducks.
Go hockey. All right, later, boys.